Do you have sound now? Do you have sound now? Perfect. I'm so sorry. I had my volume turned down and I did not realize that I had that. Is there an echo? Okay, so I'm going to just quickly review what we just went over. First, you have this page in the kit. And this is the back. And then you get this sticker sheet with all the super fun embellishments on it. And then you get another sheet of pattern paper from Graphic 45. This one's called the Nevermore, and I absolutely love these. I'm going to be doing something with this for my class next week. And then there's the back. Okay, and then here's another piece. I'm just going to quickly show you the fun things in this month's kit. And then one more. This one is from Authentique, and it's from the Thrilling line, and this one is called Forewarn. I love the chevron pattern, and then I love these cutouts on this side as well. I'm sorry that we're having some difficulties getting the sound and things right. Hopefully there's not an echo. Let me know if there is, and I will see what I can do about changing that. I apologize. This one is called Antidote, and it has a fun plaid on the back. This one is some fun steampunk wheels, and this one is called Beware. And there's the back of that one. It has a cap. This is one of my favorite because it has a lot of different elements and designs on it. And then on the back, there's that as well. Then this one is fun. I love the little girl here at the bottom of this piece. And the borders here. Now this one's one of my very favorites also. Does anyone know why? I absolutely love Skulls and Crossbones, and I am super, super, super de-duper happy that they were in this month's kit. And on the back you have some little pumpkins. I like that Authentique used the little pumpkins because of the way that you can make cards and different things like that. And here's one more from Authentique. Again, the skull and the crossbones, super fun, and love that. Okay, and then the embellishments. Let me show you what our embellishments are in this month's kit. Now this kit, you guys, you can buy on our Facebook page, and Rhonda is helping me out today, and she is being my moderator, and she will put those links up for you. We are a subscription company, however, there is no contract, so you can cancel at any time. And there also are one-time purchases available, and that will be available to you next week. So you'll get a half a yard of each of these crinkle ribbons from 3 Girl Jam. You'll get a gold mat board frame. you will get about 1/2 yard of these iridescent fun pearl beads. You will get, let me just dump them all out here. You'll get 3 of these super, super fun, cute baby flowers. Now these are paper, and the reason why I went with this cream white color here is because I wanted to let you guys be able to spritz them or paint them or distress ink them, whatever color that you guys wanted. You guys will get 3 straight pins in a turquoise blue, a green, and a gold. I don't know if you guys can see those. And then you will get our exclusive fabulous flare buttons. And let me show those to you. Now, our exclusive flare is designed by one of our designers, Britt Bass, and she did a fabulous job. These are our buttons, our flare buttons. These are 1-inch buttons, and in each kit you will get 6 exclusive flare buttons. Also, you get an all-exclusive stamp set. Now, our stamp I absolutely love. It is one of a kind, and it's definitely unique. I'm going to hold it in my hand so you can see the back of the stamp because they are clear. I don't know if you can see that there or not. That is the stamp in this month's kit, I Heart Halloween. And then you have a cute clock with the fun steampunk wings coming out. You have a spider web, and I absolutely love this stamp. So you also get that in this kit. So that is this month's kit, and we're going to go ahead and get started on what we're going to be creating today. Now, some of you are wondering what it is that we're creating and what technique I am showing you. I don't know if any of you stopped by the blog hop that we had on Friday and Saturday introducing this kit, but I made this spell book. And what I did is I just took an old book that I just had lying around. I squirted the pages with water and a squirt bottle and just opened it up and let it sit so the pages would crinkle. So if you can see the pages, they're kind of warped right there. That's what I wanted. I wanted the book to become fat. I wanted it to grow. And so what I did was, after it was all dry, I went through and I took some ink spritz, and let's see if I can raise that up a little bit for you so you can see the whole book. Let's see. There we go. This is page 1. So I did a lot of spritz and things to cover up the wording and things in this book, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. There's plenty of paper in this kit to make a whole complete album. I just liked the different look and wanted to bring in the different colors. I also folded over one of the pages from the book and did a flap, just a little quick little flap there. I used some pop dots. I also included some of Angela Holt's bling in this book. That is not included in this kit, but you can get the bling from Angela Holt. And then you'll just turn the page, and there's another page and a flap, and then you have another page, and this one has a fun flap here. I really like the different flaps. What I did is I also, you guys, instead of doing every single page, I stapled my pages together to give it a little bit more thickness. And another flap there. I really liked creating a little bunch of different elements down in here. I really liked that and how that turned out. Now, here's another page. Now you can make this as simple as you want, or you can get as detailed as you would like. And I will get a list of the items that I used, and I will post them on our blog, our Heartstrings blog. So if you guys want to kind of create the same look with the spritz and the different textures, you will have those colors available. Here's just another quick page. And one more. Now all of this paper was included in the kit. Again, like I said, the only thing that was not included in this kit was the bling, but you could use any bling that you would like, or like I said, Angela Holt has some amazing bling. She may be all sold out right now, but I don't know. Here's another little pocket here, another little pocket here, and then on the end page you have that. And then the back of the book is here. So what we're going to be teaching today is we're going to be teaching this technique. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering how I got this fun frame here. This is a technique that it just hit me, and it is hot glue. So what I did is I just went around several times, letting layer by layer dry of hot glue, and then I took some Rub and Buff, which is the gold leaf, and I put it on my finger and I went around it. I went around with a couple different things of paint, and that's what gave that look. So love that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that away, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with what we're going to be creating. So, like I said, it's going to be a little bit different on what we create this time, and what it is that I'm creating is one of these boxes. Have you guys ever seen these boxes at a store? Just one of these open up boxes. I got this here at Ross, and I don't know if you can see the price tag on that, but I got this for $6.99. So I'm always in the mood for finding some bargains and some deals. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the texture and everything on the outside of this book and make a spell book. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do, and we will go ahead and get started. First off, I always wear a glove. You don't have to wear a glove, but I always do wear a glove. You can use several different gloss mediums. You can use a gloss gel medium. I used this Texture Magic here. This kit, this October kit, will be available for a one-time purchase on Friday. This coming Friday, it will be available for a one-time purchase. So I use this Texture Magic here, and what I did is I made it very, very easy. Several of you have just a regular bone folding tool, and that is what I used. Let's see, Madge, when is this kit available? The kit will be available, you guys, on Friday for a one-time purchase. And Friday morning, if you do want it as a one-time purchase and you want to be first on the list because there are limited quantities available, you can email me. And my email is madge@heartstringdesigns.com. and you can email me that, or you can Facebook message me and tell me that you would like one. Okay, so I have a bone fold, and that's what I did. I didn't have any fancy tools or anything crazy like that. I just used what I had, and all I did was squirt the texture on. Now before we do that, we want to get our spells Mod Podged to the book. So I'm going to take one of these 4x6 squares, and I am going to Mod Podge it onto the book. And so let me get my paintbrush. I apologize, I thought I had that out. And you don't need very much Mod Podge, you guys. You just need a tiny bit to hold this down. I like Mod Podge. You could use anything that you would like, but I like the way that the Mod Podge will permanently stick that down. So I'm just going to flip that over. And I'm just going to paint the back. Now it's okay if you get the Mod Podge on the book, because you're just going to be placing it down. So you just want to make sure that you get it nice and neat with the corners. Now I'm just going to center this in the middle of the book here. Just make sure that that's down. And it looks like that is down and ready. Now, what I did not do is I did not, sorry, I'm adjusting the camera so you can see a little bit better. What I did not do on the other book was I didn't make some other little sections. And what I would like to do tonight is take a couple of pieces of pattern paper, and I'm just going to go ahead and just tear a couple pieces. No rhyme or reason. And I'm just going to set it right like down there in the corner there. And I'm going to take my ink pad and I'm going to distress the ends of them, give them that warm look. Okay, you guys, this is a big project, so I am going to lift up the camera for just a minute so you can see a little bit more clear. So you guys have a little bit there. Hopefully that's better. Does that give you a little bit more view on what I'm doing? I hope that that helps. Okay, so now that I've inked that, I'm going to go ahead and just Mod Podge a couple of these pieces onto the book. And we're going to go ahead and just cover them up and let them dry. Now, I just recently purchased myself some Mod Podge, a fun stain color, like the antique colored Mod Podge. So I just did that as well. So hopefully next time I can use that, and I think that would be a good look too. Let me see if I can fix the blur. Okay, I think that will do it, you guys, there. Yes, this one is called Antique Matte. So I really like it. It has a little bit of a brown to it. So I really like that color. Okay, you guys, I'm just going to tear up just a couple more pieces here to go onto the book. And all I'm doing is just tearing. And like I said, there's no rhyme or reason to it. These ink pads are super fun. We are memory keepers. And I really use them a lot because they have this grip here in the back. Okay. And let's see, a little more Mod Podge. I really appreciate all of you coming out tonight and watching this fun class that I'm teaching. This is a technique, you guys, that you will be able to use on anything, mini albums, any home decor piece that you may have. I absolutely love working with the molding paste and the textured molding paste. Super, super fun. Now remember, you don't need to put your Mod Podge on too thick because you are going to be coating it with the texture. So you will want to just, you know, do a light cover. As long as the paper is adhered down, that's your main goal. Now, as we go through the night, I noticed that some of my designers are here tonight, and I am so grateful to have them. They are a one-of-a-kind design team. They make some amazing projects, so be sure to send Yoli some love, and I believe Jen is on. I know that Mindy would be here, but her son has a football game, and I know a couple of the designers work late, so they may not be on here, but make sure that you guys check out their blogs as well. If my designers are on here, I would absolutely love it if you would post your links to your blogs and to your Facebook page, because you know what, you deserve it. You guys work hard and you have amazing talent. So, okay, so that is all that we're gonna do. I just did a couple pieces here and there. And I'm gonna put on my trusty glove because you know me and my nails. I don't like to get them all yucky. But unfortunately, I only have one glove tonight, so that's going to be a little tricky. Okay. So here we go with the molding paste. Now, all I did is I just kind of squirted it on where I wanted it. I really like it in the tube because it's not getting your hand all yucky and dirty. So I really like that. And then I took, again, my bone fold, and I just kind of spread it on. Now I kind of tap it a little bit to give it a little bit of texture. This is my technique, so I don't know. I mean, you guys may have a different technique. It's okay if your book shows through a little bit, as long as there's a thin texture. That's what we're going for. Now you can leave it as thick as you'd like to. You just need to remember that it needs to dry before you start applying the paint and the different varieties of sprays and things onto your book. It needs to dry completely. I will be using a heat gun. So let's see, we need a little bit more. I kind of feel like I'm a sheet rocker. I see now that what the sheet rockers go through on a house, and that's kind of the same idea. I would really like to get me a couple of different tools to make a couple different looks, but you know, when you're on a budget, you kind of use what you have, and that's what I did here. Everybody has a bone fold or a butter knife, or I mean, you could even use a kitchen fork if you want to, and it would create the same type of a look. The kitchen fork would maybe put some lines to it and give it a little bit more of a texture, which would be awesome, I think, to see that as well. Are there any questions? Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and wipe this off. Set that to the side, and I'm going to take off my glove for a minute. And we're going to go ahead and turn the heat on. So while the heat is on, if any of you have any questions, now is the time to ask. It dries really quick if you have, if you do a thin layer. So that's what I did. We are going to be doing a fun giveaway tonight. One of you will win the mini kit of this kit. So instead of getting the 12 by 12 sheets of pattern paper, you get a 6 by 6. A 6 by 12 piece of pattern paper. So we will be doing that in a little bit. Toxic Sass, if you would like to bring me some gloves, I would love it. Toxic Sass is my sweet friend, and she just lives just around the corner from me. Who loves Halloween? My kids tease me and tell me that I am way too obsessed with Halloween. But I do have to say, Scrappin' Toxic Midge is a little more obsessed than me. I do have to say. I'm just checking. We're almost there, you guys. We're almost there. probably just 3, or I mean probably just 4. So just probably 2 sets, friend, if you have them. I don't know if any of you have read and how many of you like spooky themes, but Mindy, my friend, Midge, or Mindy Palmer, Midge, Scrap and Toxic Midge, we actually are so excited because I sent in an essay of 100 words of why I would want to go on a real live ghost adventure. And guess what? I'm super, super excited to say they picked my essay. And I get to go on a real live ghost hunt, a real live ghost adventure. And like I said, I don't know how many of you guys are into that sort of thing, but I have to just say I am thrilled and I'm so freaking excited. I'm going with, it's called the Paranormal Illumination Society. And I'd like to just give them a shout out because I cannot wait. I am so freaking excited. They are on Facebook. Again, it's the Paranormal Illumination Society. And so I'll have to let you know what we find out if me and Midge find any fun, crazy things on our ghost adventure. Okay, so this is just a tiny bit tacky still. And so I am going to hurry and just go over it one more quick time. Okay. All right, while that is cooling down, there were several different techniques that I used to create this book. So what we're going to do is we are first going to take some paint, and the paint that I used that matched this kit perfectly, I used from Creative Inspirations, and I really like their paints. They come in these little cute little jars here, and this one is just an aquamarine, and then I used an ivory, and then I used a beige. Now the beige that I used is actually all gone, and so I went to the store and just got me another beige color because I knew that it would work just as great, but it might not have that shimmer shine to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put my paint in my little paint bucket thing here. Now you don't need too much because a little bit goes a long way. And I'm going to take, I call these daubers, and I don't know what their real name is, but they're daubers. And I got these from Hobby Lobby. Okay, so these are daubers. Let's see, what are these? Are these the paints that you're asking about, Yoli? These paints are called Creative Inspirations. Okay, so I'm going to use these daubers to get my paint colors on here. So first off, I'm just going to take my brown color, make sure my book's good and done, and I'm just going to daub. It doesn't need any rhyme or reason, just daub some paint colors. Now I'm not going to paint it on because I like to get in between the texture, and with a paint and just pulling it on, you're going to lose some of your texturing that you just created. And so we're just going to go around like that. And now we're going to take a different color, which again is the aquamarine. And I'm not even going to be washing my brush because I like the mixing of the colors, and I think it adds a great effect. Now the blue, you don't want to do too much of the blue because you do not want it to overpower the other colors. And Sweet Toxic Sash just got here with some gloves. She's saving the day. 911, 911. Thank you, friend. Thank you, muchos. I sure appreciate it. So we're just kind of going over with the blue. And you guys, you cannot make a mistake on this. You cannot make a mistake at all. Next, I'm going to go in the cream. And I'm just going to dab. Now you can use this, you can use any paints, you guys, any paints that you want. Any colors. You just want to make sure that you're covering up the texture. And this is a lot of layering. So you're going to have to bear with me while we turn the heat gun back on to dry this paint, so you guys are not here all night long. But don't worry, this is not the only thing that we do. We still have to use embossing powder. We still have to use our rub and buff. We still need to bring in a little bit of orange spritz to make the texture what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the dryer again. But as I do this, do I have any Yes, 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 I can hold my nails at the camera for you. Yes, yes, I can do that. That's funny. That's not a strange request at all. So I'm just going to just dry the ink quickly. Yes, Toxic Sass is a lifesaver, isn't she? Yep, she came to save the day. That's for dang Skippy. We're just going to do a light tap to see where we're still wet. One of your neighbors is just plain toxic, huh? Well, that fit right in. Your neighbor would fit right in with me and Toxic Sass and Toxic Midge, and we have a whole group of sisters that are toxic. We, in fact, we all have skulls and crossbones sticker on the back of our car because we are toxic. We all love skulls and crossbones. That's really funny, Yoli, that you would say that. That's hilarious. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so I think we're dry enough that we can go ahead and add on our next layer. Now, I do strongly suggest that you wear a glove when you use Rub and Buff, which is the gold leaf. I ruined my fingernails. I just had them done, and I ruined my nails the first time that I used this because I didn't have any gloves, and I should have run over to Toxic Sasses and used some. Got some from her. Okay, so now this is Rub and Buff. I don't know if you all can see that okay. And it's gold. And so what I do is I just squirt a little teeny bit. Now you guys, you don't want very much because it goes a long ways. So I just squirted a little teeny bit on my finger. And then I just am going to rub it in to the texture. And it's okay if your texture kind of melted a little due to the dryer, because it just adds another little bit. So it's okay. And so I just kind of rubbed. That part right there is a little damp. That's okay, because we're going to hit it with something else here in a minute, so it won't matter. But I really like how the gold adds a whole different look, if you can see what it's doing. Okay, and then what we're going to go ahead and do now, see what I mean, what would happen if you just used your regular fingers and did not use your gloves. You would have nasty fingers. Now, gold leaf dries very quickly. It does smear, but it does dry very quickly. So there's that. I'm going to take off this glove very carefully because I will be using this glove again. You have to be frugal, because if you're not frugal, you can't spend your money on your scrapbook goods. So you need to use things over and over again, right? Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to turn the dryer on real quick. I know I said that the gold leaf does dry fairly quickly, but I want to make sure that it's dry and it's completely dry before we use our embossing powder. Are there any questions, or are we still doing good? Okay, now this is a great project if you wanted to texture first and then come back to it and do a little bit more and then leave and then come back to it and then texture a little bit more and then come back to it. This is one of those projects that you can continue to build on. The white texture on the bottom, I used this, it's called Texture Magic, is what I used. You also can use a gloss medium, and you also can use just regular spackle. Spackle works also, like the sheetrockers use. Okay, you guys. It's called, I'm sorry, Texture Magic. Texture Magic. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take our emboss. Now, for our embossing, you guys, I used a couple different colors. I used the color Gold, the gold embossing powder from American Crafts, and I used the silver embossing powder from American Crafts to create this look that I was going for. And you don't want to use your daubers on your embossing pad because you will end up with round circles. So what I like to do is I have one Versamark ink pad that is specifically for this type of project, because if you can see, it's got some gunk and goo on it, but it still works. So make sure that you use one of your Versamark embossing ink pads that's an older one, or designate it specifically for these types of projects. And so what I did is I just took it and I just kind of pressed it down, and no rhyme or reason, okay? And then I took my my embossing powder, and I just kind of lightly go over where I went, and I mix the two colors. And then I just kind of, you don't want one to overpower the other, so you want to just be kind of light. The reason why I chose these two colors was because I really like silver and gold, and I think that they complement this line very well. And so I'm just going to take my book, and I am going to dump it in the garbage can. Now, some of you may keep your embossing powders, but when I'm mixing, I try to dump it into the garbage can, into a bowl. Then I can dump it into an empty embossing bottle after. So I already have my mixture. So after I do that, I work in sections. Then I take my gun and I just heat up the embossing powder. And you'll see how it starts to take on the instant look of the texture on your book. Now, I don't know if you can instantly see the way that it turned out or not. I'm going to go ahead and turn this book around. Can you see that? See how it picks up right in here, the raised look there? Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the sides and all corners. So we're just going to repeat this technique. Now, you don't want to put your ink pad, you know, the same, because remember, you don't want to get that same square type look that we were trying not to go for with those daubers. So again, I'm just going to kind of take my embossing powder and just kind of go over, and then mix the two colors. And then I'm going to dump it off right there, and we are going to go ahead and heat it again. Okay. And I don't know if you can see that better. Do you see how it just takes on the raised look there? Absolutely love how this is turning out, you guys. I am so excited I decided to do another one. Again, I'm going to just repeat the process. I just am barely, you know how you kind of shake salt and pepper on something or when you're cooking? I don't do much cooking around the house. I'm sure that Toxic Sass and several others that know me very well are probably laughing because I do not cook. My husband is the cook. I try very hard. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work for me. Okay, oh, I almost forgot to dump it. Now, if you guys don't dump off the excess, you will have a mess on your hands. So be sure that you take the time to dump the excess off before you start to before you start to heat, because your embossing powder will go everywhere and it is a mess to clean up. When you use your heat tool, do you ever worry about overheating your creation? You know, I don't, especially this one, because sometimes it will bubble, but that's okay because when it cools, the bubble will suck down. But you do need to be careful when you do use your heat tool, because if it is something specific that you are looking for and you don't want the texture, you do need to make sure that you are watching your project, especially when you use embossing powder, because you want a nice smooth finish instead of a big bubble in your project. So sometimes I do worry, but most of the time I'm doing things like this with texture that it doesn't really matter. But that is a great question. So now we're just going to go ahead and finish up here with our embossing. And we are getting close to being done with the front cover, folks. But as you can see, we have started this and it hasn't even been quite an hour yet, and we are all but finished. So this is a fast and fun and easy project that any of you can do before Halloween or for a Christmas project, or think of how fun this would be, this technique would be on some Christmas tags or something like that. I think that that would be super fun. So one more time with the heat gun. Right when it starts to bubble and I see the texture, I move the heat gun to the next spot. Okay. So can you guys see how this works? So this is how it turned out. Now we're not quite done. I'm going to go back through and blend my colors a little bit more. I want to bring in a little bit more of the blue. Not too much more, but I need to bring a little bit more blue onto this side, but I need to mix it. So I'm mixing my blue and my brown together to kind of bring in a little more blue onto this side. Now, if any of the white from the texture is showing through, that's where I am looking and going for. There. Now I feel like that is pretty well blended and it's looking fairly good. I really like the look of it. Okay, so while that is drying, we will put a little bit of orange into this book, but this needs to be dry in order to do that. So before I turn on the heat gun again, I am really, really excited because like I said before, we are going to play a little bit of a game. Who wants to play a game and who wants to win a prize? I hope that you are all jumping up right now, jumping up and down and saying me, 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 me. Now, what you will win this time for a prize is you will win a mini house calls kit. Now remember, a mini house calls kit is everything that you saw in the kit. However, you will be getting 6 by 12 sheets of paper, and instead of getting the big sticker embellishment, you will actually be getting the banner chipboard pieces from Graphic 45 that go with the steampunk line. So I'm super excited to be giving that up for dibs. And so what we're going to do is you will be picking a number between 1 and 100. Do not type it in yet. Rhonda will say go. When she types the word go, everyone type your number in. Now remember, only one number per person. And I have already let Rhonda know what the number is. And so she is going to do that. And when she says stop, everybody stop. And we're going to go ahead and play this game while this continues to dry. So I'm going to leave it up to Rhonda to get this started. Heck yes. It wouldn't be a party without a prize. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, wait 1 second. Let's see. Erica, you want to make sure that you pick a number between 1 and 100 when Rhonda says go. We're getting ready to do the prize. Everybody go, go, go. Pick a number. I think, is that everybody? I think that's everybody. I don't know. We're waiting for Rhonda. She has that. So while that's waiting, I'm heating up my glue guns for the next step also. Okay, Rhonda, I think that we are done. Oh, whoop. Okay, while she's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and turn this gun on real quick. Woohoo! Okay, I have to apologize because I did not know everybody's usernames. And so I was wondering if you could tell me your username. Excuse me, your username and your real name so I can start to know you guys a little bit better. Just message me or email me your information. I am so excited. Let's see, who is our winner? The number was 15. She was the closest without going over. Whoop, 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 whoop. Perfect. Sweet. Okay. Now, we're almost ready to add our hot glue. And so what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take my orange ink. It's called Sunset from Mr. Huey's, this orange color here. Lady Jasmine, sweet. Okay, perfect. Okay, you guys, and then I am not going to spray the spritz on the book. I don't want to take away from that effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray some ink into my garbage can, and then I'm going to take my little dauber here, and I'm going to put it and just dab it inside. You could do it on a paper towel or whatever you wanted to, but I'm just going to use my garbage can just because I can. So just do a couple sprays. So I don't have too much ink on my dauber, but I'm just going to add a little bit of orange. And for some reason, let's see, looks like I need to do it on a piece of paper in my garbage can rather than a towel. There we go. I didn't get enough ink on my, there we go. So just enough ink. You could probably spray it right on the dauber if you wanted to. Like I said, you don't need too much. Perfect, Yvonne. She's our winner. Thank you, Yvonne. I will do my very best, you guys, to start memorizing you all and all of your usernames. Okay. Now I'm going to lift up the book and I want to show you the orange did not take too much away, but it added just a little bit to the book. If you can see up in this area, it added a little orange. It added a little down into here. It added the orange without it being too bright. If you can see it right up in there also. Okay. All right. Now is the fun part. We are going to take our hot glue gun and we are going to make, for those of you that joined late, we are going to make this awesome frame on our spell book, okay? And how I did that, you guys, was I did a hot glue gun. So I took my hot glue gun. Now, you can use a little glue gun if you have a little glue gun like this, with a fine point, but it does take a little bit longer to do, so I like to use my big Fat Daddy one because it goes by faster. So all I'm going to do is squirt along whatever it is that I want to frame. Okay. Now it's okay if it dries, because you remember we are wanting to go over this a couple times. Okay. And it's okay if it rumples on top of each other. That's what's given this the look that we're going for. So I'm just, okay. Now you want to remember, if you're going to be doing this to a surface, you want to make sure that you're doing it to a surface that can take the heat. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to let that sit for a second. Yes, the frame is glue, Toxic Sass. Hot glue. I'm just waiting for my glue gun to heat up again. It was giving me, this is a cordless glue gun, which I absolutely love, but sometimes it cools down faster than I like it to when I'm, so while that dries, we're going to let that dry. So for some of you that came late, I would like to go over some of the products that we used. To get the texture, I used Texture Magic, but any texture, molding, paste, any of that will work. I used a couple of these daubers that you can get at Hobby Lobby. I used some paint from Creative Imaginations. I like this paint because it has a shimmer to it. I used embossing powder, silver and gold from American Crafts. I used, now I put it back in the package because I lost the lid. So I used this gold leaf, and maybe you'll see it better without the, it's only $3.99, you guys, at Hobby Lobby. But I used gold, and it's called Rub and Buff Gold Leaf. We used brown distress ink. We used a hot glue gun. We used some Mod Podge. We used a little bit of Mr. Huey's Sunset. And we used a book that I got just recently. I got the book at Ross for $6.99. So that's what I got the book for. Okay, so now that's dry. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take another round of hot glue and add the squigglies. I'm going to turn on my plugged one also. For some reason, it's spitting out the glue, but it's not heating the glue. We're almost done, ladies. We're almost done. Should be getting close. So far, are there any questions? This is fairly easy, you guys. And I know every single one of you can do this. I would love to see your projects. I would love to see your spell books. I would absolutely love to see what you create using this technique here. Now, if you want, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want the effect of the glue. So we're going to let it, we need to let it sit for a minute because we want it to be completely 110% dry before we apply the gold stuff too. Yes, yes, it is. Thank you, Toxic Sass. The big one is called Sure Bonder, and I got it at Hobby Lobby. Here is the name if you can read that. But it's cordless, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Toxic Sass had one, and I had to get it one also because I loved how it's cordless. It can go anywhere and be anywhere, and that is that's what I need, my friends. I need it to go anywhere. Okay, let's see. We're filling. We're still a little tacky. And this, you guys, we have to be patient with because we can't use our heat gun because the heat will just reheat the hot glue. Now, in the kit, you do get a half of a yard of each of the crinkle ribbons that you have, the orange and the black. What I liked and what I'm going to use on this particular book is I'm going to use some ribbon from 3 Girl Jam that I love, that I've had in my stash. And so what I'm going to do while that's drying, I just want to kind of show you what I'm planning on doing with that. I am planning on taking the ribbon and tying, let's see, let me cut it. I may take another type of ribbon as well. Let's see, in fact, I have some fun Halloween ribbon just sitting here on my table that I'm going to use as well. Let's see if I can get it open. I just got this cheap ribbon at Hobby Lobby. Right now on their ad, Hobby Lobby has their ribbon spools 50% off, so now is the time. So, just cutting a big piece of that. I'm going to take it into this book as well. Slide it over to the side. Now, you can use a lace piece if you want. Now this orange piece is crinkle ribbon, and this ribbon I love, I absolutely love. I get it from 3 Girl Jam. Julie is amazing and she has lots of colors. Their website is just 3girljam.com. And you know, I'm not really liking the brown ribbon, so I'm going to take the brown off and I'm going to go over to my stash and I'm going to get me some black ribbon out of my stash so I can use the black and the orange ribbon like I had on the other book. So there we go. We're going to do 2 colors. We're going to do And I'm not even going to tie it into a bow, you guys. I like the crinkle ribbon because of the way that it works and it forms. And I'm just going to tie it into a knot right here. Now what would be super cute here is if you had a little Halloween charm of some type, or a little spider or something that you could tie onto onto the ribbon itself. Now I might try a bow and see how that looks. Actually, I think I really like the bow because I like how it crinkles. I like how the ribbon is crinkling, so I'm going to go with the bow. Okay, so that is all but dry, but I have a little sparse right through here, so I need to get that taken care of. Okay. Now, while that side is drying, I'm going to put my handy dandy gold leaf glove back on. As you can see, I told you that I would reuse that. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm filling down in here, feels really good. I'll let this part dry here while we go ahead and start this side. So I'm going to squirt the gold rub there on my glove, and I'm just going to go over. You see how it picks it up, so it makes it start to look like a frame? Now, I knew that they used this technique to make canvases and different things, like people write their names and then they paint over the top of it, but I had never thought to use it as an actual frame around something, and I really, really like that. Now, okay, so while that sits on that side, now I don't want it to be solid gold, and so what I'm doing, is I'm going to take my dauber again with paint. I'm just going to, it still is a little bit wet, and so I'm just gonna just kind of daub. Just bring in a little of the color. Not too much because I really like the look of the gold, but just enough that it fills in a little bit. Okay, you guys, we are getting close to time, and I'm sorry, we're almost done. We're still a little bit tacky there, so I gotta wait for that to dry. And then we will be complete with our book of spells. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this around to you. Okay, so that's how we're looking. We're almost done. I'm loving how it worked out. Now, while that's still drying, I am going to, after the show, I'm going to do the same technique here on the side and the same technique on the back of this book, so it takes the whole book. Okay, let's see. You guys are okay? If you guys, I will continue to do it, the rest of the book on the back and the sides. If you guys are enjoying this class, I just don't want you to feel pressure of being here all night. I would love to sit and do it and talk to you all and see if you have any more questions and different things. The inside is the inside of the box here. And so what I probably will do is some spooky, fun theme on the inside. And you know what? We will, if we can get to that tonight, I will. If not, I will continue to record and do the tutorial for the inside. I thought that it might be fun to just put some candy and underneath it just have a fun piece of, you know, pattern paper or something like that on the inside. Okay, what we'll do is I will do the inside for another show, and we will do the side and the back for the remaining of this show for those of you who would like to leave or need to get to bed. I know that the time change is kind of different. So we will do that another time, maybe next week. We'll do that for a different show, and we'll do the side and the back. So those of you that would like to stay can go ahead and do that. Now, this is dry, so I'm just going to kind of go ahead and go over that. Okay, and then I'm going to take my inker that still has a little bit of ink. Just kind of go over that a little bit. Okay, now, yes, Pam, I am going to do a show every week. There will be a show every Tuesday, and it will start at 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Okay, so I hope that you guys love this. I really like how it turned out. Again, I am going to go ahead and continue working on this book, so I would love for those of you who would like to stay with me and continue working. If you missed this part of the technique and you just would like to see how I did the top of this book, I'm going to be doing the side and the back. So we're going to go ahead and start working on the side now, and we'll just go from there. Okay, I'll hold this up just one more quick time just for those of you that need to leave. Okay. I appreciate you guys so much, because without you inspiring me and encouraging me to do this each and every week, I don't know if I would, but I absolutely love creating. I love sharing ideas, and I love seeing different techniques and trying different techniques. So I do. I really appreciate everything that you guys do. And good night, Deb. We are going to continue on. So I'm going to take off my glove, and we're going to go ahead and get started on the spine. I'm going to lift that up just a little bit more, and I'm going to open it just a tiny bit just to lean on. Okay, and let's see if we can pull this back a little bit better of a view. Okay, so I'm going to tuck my bow down under so it doesn't get more the texture on it, and then I'll bring the bow back up. All right, we are going to move on. I'm just going to squirt the texture on and use a little bit of the bone on here as well. And I'm going to just cover this up. Now, I really like this book because of the colors already that it had in it. My book that I made before, you guys, was a bright baby blue, and I got it like cheapo manipo. It's been in my stash. I got it for like $2.25 from a bookstore, and I decided, you know what, I need to alter it and make it a spell book. And so that was what was the inspiration for me to do a spell book and cover it and make it a mini album. I actually really liked this piece because I could put it in my kitchen, on my table. I could put it out in my family room with some other Halloween home decor. Just the possibilities are endless. Now you could also make this as just a fun piece to set in your home and do, you know, whatever you would like to. I think it would be super fun to do another piece of like graphic 45, a lady's diary or something, and you could make it like a little jewelry keepsake box to put on your nightstand or something like that. Let's see, I'm sorry, let's see. I missed what she used for the gold frame. Okay, the gold is called Gold Leaf Rub and Buff. Let's see. Let's see if I can. Let's see. It's called. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn the heat gun on and dry this texture. Now you just want to make sure that when you're using the heat gun, you're even or all the way around, and then you need to make sure that when you have your little peaks and valleys here, that you don't get them too thick, because it does take a little bit longer for them to dry. So you want to just make sure you can try to bring this down a little bit flatter for you all so you can see. I'll hold it like that. Maybe that's a little bit better angle. And like I said, you guys, you can do it in steps like I am doing, or you can do it in steps and do all of your texture first and let it dry. And then you can do all of your painting, let it dry. You can do it in a lot of different steps if you would like to. This is just the way that I like to do things, especially when I'm teaching a class. I wanted to make sure that you guys got the idea of the technique and were able to take it and make it your own. Okay, let's see, we should be close. Let's see, Jen, the stuff that I'm drying is the texture. And so, oh, good night, Heather, if you're still here, good night, good night. Okay, so we're just almost done. Perfect. Okay, so All right, now that light is a little bright, so I'm going to try to turn it so it's not quite so bright. There we go. Okay, now what we're going to do is, as you can recall, we did the paint first, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our blue out of the way because it is a really bold color and it takes a lot away from our product. So now remember, I'm not painting, I'm just dabbing with my dauber because I want to make sure I don't get little circles. If I do, I can kind of blend them in a little bit. But this blue is the dominating color, so we want to make sure that we use it first to blend in what we have. Next, we will use the Fun Paint color, which is a fun color beige that I'm just using. The beige actually is from Folk Art, and it's just a beige paint. Yes, Holly, you can definitely use that. Anything that's going to give you this type of a texture, you definitely can use. And it will do the exact same type of thing. There's lots and lots of different types of molding pastes or different things out there that you can use. This is just what I had on hand, and so that's why I used the one that I did. Okay, next I'm going to take a really light ivory color, and I'm using still, you guys, I'm still using the same dauber, and I'm still using, it still has a lot of different paints in it, but that's okay because I'm just going to take it in there and I'm just going to try to blend in a little bit. And if you get it too heavy in a spot, don't worry, because you can always go back through with your blue and cover up the ivory or different things like that. And remember, we also have to have our embossing powder to give it another fun technique also on here. So now remember, you do not want to get your paint too thick, because if you get your paint too thick, it's going to take a lot longer to dry, and so you're not going to be able to use your gold leaf or your embossing powder very quickly if you do use too much paint. So I'm going to just hurry and quickly dry this so you're not here all night. Holly, I'm super excited that you were able to make tonight's show. I hope that you're doing well. When you were on HSN the other night, well, it's been a little bit ago, you looked amazing. Okay, so just making sure. Okay, I'm going to put my handy dandy glove back on for my gold leaf. Maybe. And it's a good thing I'm not a doctor, because I would not be able to get my doctor gloves on in a crisis. It is a good thing that I'm a crafter. Okay, now I'm going to just go ahead and use a little of this on my finger, and I'm just going to kind of rub it together on my finger and my thumb. Now, it can be overpowering, this gold, so you need to be careful, because you don't want to overpower your project by using this gold. A little bit goes a long way. See how it just picks up the texture so nicely. Do I have any questions? See how fast it works, ladies, crafters. It goes on very smooth, very nice. And this is just, project is coming together so well that I am just giddy. I am so sorts of excited. I have a tiny piece right here, and right here that is still a little bit wet. So I want to make sure that that's completely dry before we pull out the embossing powder. So I'm going to hurry and turn on the heat gun one more time. Okay. Now, as like I told you before, I have a certain Versamark embossing ink pad that I use particularly for my mixed media projects, because your ink pad will end up looking something like this. And so you want to make sure that you don't ruin your brand new ink pad, or get an ink pad specifically for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of take there, and I just kind of lightly went over. And I'm taking the gold and the silver embossing powders from American Crafts, and we are going to be doing a mixing type of technique here. You don't want to get too heavy of one color and not heavy enough of another color, so we just want to kind of mix them in a little bit. When I dump this before actually heating it, I'm actually dumping it into a bowl. So when I am done with this project, I actually have a mixed tube or tub of embossing powder. And so I can use a mixed silver and gold, which will already be that done. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this off. I go ahead and leave my project as is. I don't spray it with the sealer. I would imagine you could. I don't, because I don't want the spray to ruin my book. So I haven't done that with the sealer, but I'm sure you could. Okay. I am going to now heat the embossing powder. And you'll start to see it rise, and that's what the look we're going for. Okay. Now I think it's turning out just beautifully. Can you guys see that? Okay. Woohoo! Teresa the Scrapbooking Queen's here. Whoop whoop! Sweet. Okay. So now I want to blend in a little bit more. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over the embossing powder with my same dauber. Remember, my dauber, I do not rinse out each and every time, you guys. I don't, because I liked the look of it. I like the way that it blends the colors and makes them come together. So I do not rinse my brush out. You could if you like, but I don't. Okay, if you get going and you feel like, oh, it could use a little bit more embossing powder, like right through here, I'm going to do that because I think that this does call for that right there. So I'm just going to do a quick little bit of embossing powder. One more throughout. Again, I'm mixing these embossing powders, you guys, because I really like the look of the gold and the silver. And I'm dumping into a bowl so I can reuse and use the heat gun. Perfect. Okay. All right, can you guys see that? Okay. So, for those of you who've just joined us, we have created a super fun book. This is our spell book. Let me see if I can get a little bit better. There we go. This is our spell book. And it has a bow on it. And we created this book for the class here. And then we also, sorry, the lighting is a little crazy. And then we did the spine. We did the spine, and now we're going to be doing the back. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and do the back now. So the same type of thing. However, this time I'm going to take on the back, I'm going to do another 4x6 from the Steampunk line. And I'm going to Mod Podge that on the back there. So we have the same type of technique for the book. So I'm going to take my Mod Podge and whoops. Sorry guys, I just want to make sure that you guys can see this all okay. So I'm going to take the Mod Podge and I'm just going to paint the back of this gal just really quickly. Now remember, it doesn't matter if you get the Mod Podge onto your book or your surface on this because you're going to cover it with the texture anyway. So we're just going to quickly put her on the back. And I like to take my, when it's something small like this, I like to take my bone fold and fold it on, pull it on. Make sure there's no bubbles and bumps. Perfect. Okay, next I am going to do the same thing again, you guys, with some paper. I'm going to rip up a couple pieces of paper, again from the Steampunk line, from Graphic 45. Now this paper comes in my kit that you can get this month. And so I'm super excited. So we're just going to go ahead and just ink these. It may matter, it may not matter. It just depends on where you set these. So we're just going to go ahead and ink them just in case. You can do big pieces, you can do little pieces. The possibility is up to you. We're going to go ahead and just paint the backs of these. Now you want to use light Mod Podge on these pieces, you guys, because if you use too thick of pieces, too thick of Mod Podge, then it's going to leave you waiting more time for your piece to dry. Okay. All right, so we're just going to quickly do this. And we're going to repeat the process that I did for the texture in just a moment. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Now, do we have any questions? Thanks, Jen, so much. I'm so glad that you came. I'm so glad that you supported. Jen is one of my fabulous designers. And I hope before she turned in for the night, maybe she could post her blog. I also have the Scrapbooking Queen that is on my design team. She is on now. And also, I have Britt Bass. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it tonight. But I do have Yoli, and she's on here also. So Yoli, I would love it if you would post your side if you're still here. And we're going to go ahead and get started with this texture. I'm just going to squirt it on just like I did before. I like the tube rather than the big tub because I like to just squirt it on instead of have to dig it out. So I like that. I am using just my bone fold here to add the texture to this box just because I can, and I don't have all those fancy smancy tools. I mean, you can get them if you want them. I would love to get them, don't get me wrong. I just have not busted out my checkbook and bought me any yet. So, ladies, this is being recorded, so if any of you feel like you need to go, please don't feel as if you need to stay. I love that you're staying. I love that you're commenting and really enjoying this project. I know that it is taking some time to get complete, and I don't want you to feel like you have to stay. So, let's see. I'm running low on my texture, but I'm almost there. I know I have a little bit more in it. There we go. Okay, now why I am having this dry with my gun, my hot gun, heat gun. Are there any questions? If you guys have any questions, please, 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 please ask why the heat gun is on. I will answer any questions that you may have, okay? Again, I didn't put it on too thick because it does take a while for it to dry. I'm so glad that you guys want to stay till the end. Yay! That means I'm doing something right. Can I just tell you, if you do not have a heat gun, you need to get one. This has been by far one of the best investments of mine. When I bought mine, I did not even know what embossing powder was. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. By dang, I needed to have one. And can I just tell you, I use this heat gun for so much more than just embossing. I have to say this is one of the crafty must-haves for me. Okay, I think we're getting close. It's just almost dry. Will I post this on the UK? Yes. Well, I'm posting it onto YouTube, so after it still will be available here on the Ustream channel, but I'm also going to be putting it on my I'm going to be putting it onto the YouTube channel as well. So, okay. So, just so you know that. But yes, I will. I definitely will be reposting. I will be posting this on the blog. And I will be posting on the blog this as well as the products that I've used tonight. I would also like to let all of you guys know tomorrow is our Wow Wednesday, along with our monthly challenge that we have. And I would love it if you would pop on over to our blog tomorrow and check out what our designers have made and have you take our challenge. This month's challenge is a super, super fun one. All right, you guys, so we're going to just repeat this process. We've got the blue paint. And I'm just going to go around and around with my blue paint. Now remember, the blue can be very overpowering, so you just need to make sure that you're okay with the blue. If you don't want to use blue, you don't need to use blue, but I liked bringing the blue in to give it a little bit more of a color, more of a fun steampunk feel with this steampunk line that I used to create the other book. So we're going to let that dry. Now while the blue is drying, I want to show to you, some of you did not see the mini album that I made. Now, Nikki, are you asking me if I will ship this to the UK? Yes, I will ship this to the UK as long as you're willing to pay the postage. I do not have a problem with shipping this to the UK. Nikki, that's fabulous. I would absolutely love to have this kit in your hands. This is the book right here. While this blue is drying, this is the book that I created. And so I want to just show you really quickly. Some of you already have been here with me, so I'm going to do this very quick. This was just a fun book, and I turned it into a fun spell book. I watered down the pages to give it a little bit more of a crinkly look. I used all of the paper that is in my monthly kit. Here's another page, and I used some fun ink to distress, and there's a fun little flap. Now I want to give you guys all a hint, and I meant to say this earlier and I didn't. If you don't want your sticker to be sticky anywhere, so you don't want it to stick down, all you do is apply baby powder. So if you don't want your sticker to stick somewhere, just apply the baby powder to the back of it and it won't stick anymore. It takes the stickiness away. So that's just a little tip. Here's another part of the book and another flap. And another page. And super fun, you guys. Super, super fun. I absolutely love all this mixed media. I love bringing into the scrapbooking world and making a mixed media scrapbooking project. Yes, Nikki, I will send you the kit. Yes, if you would like one, you just email me, okay, friend? And then there's one more page. And the last page here. And then the back cover. Okay, and then remember what we did here was hot glue. This is hot glue with some gold rub and buff on it, some gold leaf rub and buff. Okay, so you guys, so now I think our blue is dry. So now we're going to go ahead and take our same dauber, and I was asked, I'm sorry, what color of blue am I using? This is by Creative Inspirations, and it is called Aquamarine. It's Creative Inspiration, and it's aquamarine. Okay, now I'm just using a fun, again, I'm using a brown beige color and just gonna go over the book again. And I think this would be super fun, you guys, on a Christmas album. Ooh, wouldn't it be pretty with reds and greens and golds? And oh, this would be a beautiful technique to do a fun, like Santa Claus's naughty, good and bad book, or naughty and nice book, or something like that. That would be fun. That's something that I actually might do for a class. Now we're taking the antique ivory color, and you don't need too much. And like I said, you guys, I really like the Creative Inspirations paint because it has a little bit of a shimmer to it, so it gives it a little shine. I'm not using ink on this because the wetness actually makes your texture wet again, and it kind of makes it have a funny look. So I don't like to use the distress ink after I have textured. I would rather squirt it onto a sponge and use it that way. Okay, so now while those colors are drying, I'm going to hurry and use the heat gun one more time, and then we'll use the gold leaf, and then we'll use the embossing powder, and we'll glue our flowers on, and we will be almost done. Okay, this paint dries pretty quickly, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put my trusty old glove back on. Maybe. Okie dokie, and we're going to go ahead and just use a little bit more of this gold leaf. See, you guys, I really am not using that much. Can you see? Just a little teeny squirt. Okay, rubbing my two fingers together and just kind of rubbing it over a little bit. Okay. A little bit more gold leaf. Now, like I said, gold leaf can overpower, so you need to start little and then continue to add, because you don't want it to take away from your project and what you are doing, okay? You want to make sure that you are sparse, and then just continue to add. Okay, now it's time for the embossing one more time. Okay, getting my trusty old yucky Versamark Distress Ink pad, but it works still fabulous for this type of project that I'm doing. So I'm just going to kind of do the edges. Now, since this is a bigger surface, you guys, I have to kind of do it a little bit more into steps, because I don't want my stuff to dry. And I'm just tapping, and we're mixing the gold and the silver together. You just want to be careful on how much powder you use. You don't want to waste any. And like I said before, I am dumping this into a bowl so I can save this powder and make my own silver and gold mix later in an empty tube. Be sure that you dump it off before you start the heat gun, because if you don't, you are going to have a mess on your hands. It flies everywhere. That's right, Toxic Sass. You don't want it to be moist. That would be gross. That would be bad. So we're just going to heat the embossing powder. I love how it picks up the texture. It brings this whole book to life, the embossing powder does. Okay. All right. Can you see there in the corner, you guys, the embossing powder and what it does? I love how it turns out. Okay. And now we're going to do just down the side a little bit. Into the corner. I hate that word as much as Toxic Sass. She loves marshmallows. She loves them. It's an inside joke we have, but she actually hates marshmallows so bad. Oh, that's funny. Okay. I hope that you guys are having fun. Are you guys having fun? You know what? For all of you that have stuck around, I'm going to do another giveaway. Who wants a giveaway? There are people wanting giveaways? Okay. All right. For this giveaway, what we're going to do is I'm going to give away two past house calls kits. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a number. Right now, I'm going to write a number. I'm going to take my Sharpie. I am going to grab myself a piece of paper. I'm going to go ahead and write down a number. I'm going to fold it up. Okay, here's my paper. When I say the word go, I want you all to type in one number from 1 to 100. You only get to have one number, and the closest one without going over will be the winner. On your marks, get set, go, crafters, go! Oh, and the numbers are coming in. I'm just going to continue this way. The numbers are still coming in. Okay, you guys, is that everybody? Is that everyone? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that everybody? I'll give it just a couple more minutes. I'm going to dub this off and we will emboss this one, and then I'll show you the winner. Okay, perfect. So, oh, one more. Is there anyone else? Anyone else? Going once, going twice, and the lucky number is 65. Who is the winner? Pam, it looks like you are the closest winner without going over. You are the winner. You had number 61. So Pam, I would love it if you would email me, madge@heartstringdesigns.com, and you, my dear, get 2 past house calls kits, and I will get those shipped out to you as soon as possible. And one more quick embossing. You don't need too much on there, but just a little bit. Just to give it a little bit more zazz. Pam, you are so welcome. And you guys, one more. Okay. Now that we have that, we are going to go ahead and just blend everything all together. I'm not even going to add any more paint colors. I'm just going to kind of go through, add a little bit over the top just to make sure that we got everything. I see a tiny bit of white creeping through, so I'm going to use a tiny bit more blue just to cover up a little bit of the white. And then remember, we have the orange that we need to just kind of blend in here as well. Okay, so I have my cute little orange dauber. Where did my little orange dauber go? We're going to squirt some orange distress ink onto a piece of paper, and we will take our little dauber. So I just squirted, you guys, the distress ink onto a piece of paper, and I'm taking the dauber like this, and I am just now going to just kind of, and I don't want to bring too much orange in, and if I do, it's okay. I can always go back over it with that other brush, but I felt like it just needed a little bit of orange. I failed to do that on the side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But see how fast you can just kind of cover it up so the orange doesn't overpower either. You can just use both of these. Okay. So there's the back. And I love how it turned out. I love the girl. I like just the different elements there. I love how that turned out as well. And then we're going to go ahead and take it to the side and add in a little of the orange to the side as well. Now, notice how it created a little bit of the dots, but that's okay because we still have our wet brush, remember? And we can go back through and blend it in so it doesn't look like we did the daughters. If you want, you could take a little bit more gold, squirt it on a couple little areas. If you got a little too much of the orange, and you can just kind of cover it, simply cover it up, but you still have the base of the orange underneath. Okay? Perfect. All right, you guys. So there we go. We have our book, and this is the outside we've created. And this is the side, and then this is the back. Okay, I hope that you guys all enjoyed this class. I appreciate you all staying here and learning these different techniques. I would love for you to be my friend on Facebook. I would love for you to follow our House Calls blog, which is heartstringdesigns.com. I would love for you to follow my personal blog, which is thescrappinlounge.com. And I would love any feedback that you want to give me if you liked the class, if you didn't like the class, what you would do differently. I am completely open to feedback on that. The last thing that we're going to do before I let you all go, just wanted to let that dry for one quick second, is we are going to add a couple little flowers to the front here. And these are just white little paper flowers that I have, and the reason why I'm going with white is because I'm going to take this orange dauber that I have, and I'm just going to kind of give them a little bit of color that way. So that I'm just going to give them a little teeny bit of that, and then I will use this dauber to just kind of give it a little more color and make them pop just a tiny bit. You don't need too much color on them. And we're going to just hot glue these little guys. Maybe. Let's see, I've got my other hot glue gun on too, so we'll use that one. And we're just going to put it right down there in the bottom corner. Just going to squish them all right up there and together, just to kind of give it a little extra flair. All right, you guys, I would like to thank you again so much for joining me and my project. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions or you want to get in touch with me, I absolutely would love that. Email me, Facebook message me, you know, anything just to get in touch with me. I would absolutely love it, and I appreciate you all tuning in. If this is something that you want this month's kit, please email me for the one-time purchase. It is madge@heartstringdesigns.com. Thank you so much, everybody, and you guys have a great night. Loves, loves.